Ooh, I got to take a second here. So all you're doing is picking up the phone, calling on people that have surplus, having a conversation with them. Obviously, there's going to be some trust built there because I'm sure that they don't believe you when you say you have a bunch of money there, right? So there's probably some proof elements on some level, but they know that they foreclosed. Maybe the heirs don't know, but the living property owners know.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like $200 million a month in surplus.
Yeah.
Billions. I mean, there's got to be thousands. There's got to be thousands every single month that have surplus. Welcome to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, America's #1 podcast for new real estate investors, where we know that finding discounted properties is the most proven path to financial freedom. My name is Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, and I'm telling you this, if I can do this business, so can you. I am telling you guys, after listening to this podcast, your view on the real estate business will change forever. This is a podcast I've never done before. This is something absolutely incredible. Something I've been in this business since 2004, and I didn't understand anything about this strategy that we're going to be breaking down, and it's all about surplus funds. And I've got the absolute master. He's closed over 2,000 deals. 2,000 deals, millions of dollars of income earned, all from his computer and cell phone. It is my pleasure to bring on Alfred Taren. Alfred,
what's up, man?
How are you, brother?
Hey, good to see you again. I'm great. Thank you.
Explain to everybody what surplus funds is.
My favorite topic. So, in a nutshell, the elevator, right? So basically what surplus funds is, it's basically the auction sale price, like what a property,
foreclosures,
a foreclosure or a tax sale.
Okay.
What that property would sell for minus the total debt on that property, whether it be mortgage loan debt or tax property.
The leftovers.
Debt. The leftover, right? And so when you take those two numbers, whatever's left over is the surplus, also known as excess proceeds.
Right.
And that's what we're going to be talking about. That's my favorite topic.
So, okay, somebody's in foreclosure. They owe $100,000. It sells at the auction for $180,000.
Yep.
That $80,000 is the surplus. That's what we're talking about here. And doesn't after the auction, don't they just get sent a check? Doesn't it just go to the homeowner?
Well, I mean, you would think it's their money, right? But unfortunately, there are some things that they need to do in order to claim those funds. So there's some like state statute rules, and there's some county regulations that need to be followed. And so they don't just send a check in the mail, willy-nilly, because you never know who's going to receive it. Not to mention, a lot of these foreclosures, these homeowners are deceased. They've passed. So the county doesn't know and the courts don't know who actually is owed that money.
So they keep it. They hold on to it.
They hold on to it. Yeah, they don't keep it anymore, but they hold on to it, and then they just use it as part of their budget. Yeah. So I don't know what that means, but I assume they can just spend it on the things that they need to spend it on, basically.
But it's the person's money. I mean, they have the right to get that money.
Oh, they're 100% entitled to these funds. If the funds exist, if surplus is generated, and after all liens and debt and judgments are paid off, and there's still equity or a surplus that was generated, that money rightfully belongs to the former homeowner or the heirs of that homeowner. Right. So yeah, they're owed that money.
Well, I went down the rabbit hole, Alfred. I went down the rabbit hole because Dina, my title officer, said, "Why aren't you going after the excess proceeds?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Yeah, I've got investors that are figuring out that, you know, there was money left over after the auction, and they either help the people get it, or they use it as like a leverage. So somebody that like buys the house at the auction, and then they tell the owner, hey, listen, there's money left over for you. We'll help you get that if, you know, you get out of the house. It's to prevent like evictions or people staying in the property and beating up the property on the way out. They want to help out these former owners, the people that just foreclosed, and I don't know, I guess they just kind of go through the process of helping them file their claim to be able to do that. That's what she was, that's how I like kind of pulled on the thread of this. And then I found you, and I was like, this guy's done 2,000 of these deals. Like, why aren't the property owners just getting the money easier? Yeah. Right. Like why isn't, well, let's start here. When somebody forecloses, how do they know that there's excess funds, that there's surplus funds? Yeah.
Well, I mean, the counties and the courts are not beating down their door to let them know, because, you know, there's something in it for them. If no one comes forward to claim it, right, they get to absorb it, right? Not keep it, but they get to use it, right? However they deem necessary. But the reason that most of these homeowners are just not aware of it is that the counties and the courts or the trustees, you know, they're required to send one notification. One notification. And I've seen these notifications. They're not very straightforward.
What, like a letter?
It's a letter, like a certified letter, but it gets there after the fact, and it goes to the foreclosed address where nobody lives anymore, right? Or the homeowner has been passed for some time.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, it's the biggest reason why these homeowners just don't know about it and don't claim it, especially on their own.
Guys, $200 million a month in surplus from foreclosures. Foreclosures in 2026 are up 26%.
According to Adam data. Yep. Year over year.
There's billions.
Oh, right now there's billions of dollars just sitting unclaimed. And then there's that massive number that is being generated, right? Every single year, just stacking on top
every day.
Oh, every day there's think about it. There's over 3,000 counties nationwide. Right. And they're all having auctions daily, weekly, and a handful of them do them monthly. Sure. But that's just a lot of foreclosure activity that's being generated. And, you know, a lot of those deals end up just foreclosing or going back to the bank, but a great number of them actually generate what we're talking about here, which is the excess proceeds, the surplus funds. And these homeowners just don't claim it, especially on their own, because one, they don't know about it. And then two, it's too complex for them to do on their own. In most cases, it's just they don't do anything on their own, right? Like, you know, for the most part, like you don't file your own taxes. It's even more complex than that. And then the other reason is that if a homeowner is deceased, you know, their kids or their grandkids or their nieces and nephews.
Oh, they'd never know.
They would never know.
They would never know.
They're so disconnected from the situation. So, right. You know.
And so you reach out to either the person that's living that just foreclosed or the heirs. Yeah. And you say, hey, you've got $80,000 sitting with the county. Do you want me to go get it for you?
Yeah. So after I identify a property that might have a surplus, I do an assessment on it. I kind of research the data to make sure there's, you know, positive surplus. And then I use...
What does that mean? How do you do research? Surplus? No. Like
the research.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after the sale is done, right, you got to subtract all liens and judgments from the total purchase price, right, at the auction, at the foreclosure. And some of those liens, it's not just the first mortgage. Sometimes there's a second mortgage on there. Sometimes there's an HOA lien on there. Sometimes there might be an IRS lien or a mechanics lien or utility lien. So you got to kind of take a little snapshot of the transaction history and understand what's recorded against that property that still is outstanding. And then once you figure that math out, you know, whatever's remaining is the surplus. And so what I do before I contact them, I do that process first, find the lead, research it, right? Then we skip trace it, contact the homeowner or the heirs, and we simply let them know what we found. And once they understand it, we get them under contract, and we help them. We file the claim basically on their behalf, and then we get paid.
But how much?
Well, it's a lot, but to give you a range, because there's different scenarios, right?
Well, you told me there's 3 tiers, really.
Right. There's 3 tiers, and so not scenarios, just more tiers, like, from the low end of a surplus deal, you're looking at anywhere from 15,000 of surplus generated to about 35,000. That is going to be considered to people like myself a small surplus deal. But even on a small deal, you can generate $5,000 to $10,000 in commissions, right? And what's insane about that is even if we stop there, for most people, if they just did 2 or 3 of those, right, which can easily be done, like that's life changing.
There's got to be thousands of these, tens of thousands of these.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 3,000 counties each having auctions daily or weekly. Yeah, you kidding me? There's tons of these. And then you have your like mid tier, Brent, and these are the ones I see like every day. This is like 80% of the deals that I see size wise. And so we're looking at anything like above 35K to about 125, mid 100. That's going to be your typical deal surplus. And on those, you can make anywhere from 10 to as high as $30,000 on a typical deal.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have your outliers, the bigger ones, the larger ones that get up to even over $1 million in surplus funds. Yeah.
What's your biggest one?
My biggest one
in
my career has been 1.2 million in surplus funds. 1.2 million.
Somebody had $1.2 million sitting.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
In with the county.
Yeah. So.
And they didn't claim it.
Well, they didn't even know about it. So how could they claim it? I had to tell them.
You got to break it down.
Okay.
Like tell me about it.
Let me tell you how this one came about. This was a deal in California. So it was a non-judicial state, right?
Yeah.
And so basically the property was sold at auction, right? It was an elderly couple, kind of a sad story. Elderly couple kind of going through a dementia situation, had some kids that were supposed to be taking care of the property, so on and so forth, right? A lot of family dynamics that just didn't work out too favorably at the end of the day. But the bottom line is that they lost the property, right? And so by the time it got to me,
were they living in the property or was the kids living in the property?
It was them living in the property,
okay.
And there was like a kid living nearby that was supposed to be.
They were living independently?
They were living independently.
With dementia?
With mild dementia.
Both of them?
Both were experiencing. One was less than the other, but both. And they just lost.
So that's
track.
what led to the foreclosure.
Yeah, it was, a little bit of that, a little bit of some negligence probably from the kids, just not monitoring, their aging parents' affairs, right?
Yeah.
So by the time it got to me, it was already said and done. It was a done deal. And so, were
they still living there or were they gone?
No, they were still there. They had a second house. Yeah, they were actually doing all right. That house was almost paid off. That's the sad part. Yeah. And the buyer, the person who bid it at auction, got a steal of a deal. That's the crazy part about the people buying these properties. They are paying more than the debt, but they're still getting great deals. So they're constantly outbidding each other. And right now,
they're buying at foreclosure auction.
They're buying at foreclosure auction, and there's more investors coming into the space to buy these properties at foreclosure auction, and that kind of creates bidding wars and it generates more surplus.
Sure.
But that's a whole nother conversation. But with this one, so I contacted this family and I ended up speaking to one of the kids, and this was a rare situation, especially with a deal this size. I actually was able to get an agreement done over the phone on the first call. Sometimes it's more than that, but on that first call, we got all the documents signed and we got the claim filed. And then it took us about 120 days to get the funds released on this particular case. And we got them paid out just under. So they got paid about 1.1 and some change out of the 1.2. and I was able to keep 10% on that one.
So 120K?
Mm-hmm.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And they didn't know about it.
They didn't know about it. Yeah. And that was just 10%. On some of these deals,
They just thought that they lost everything.
Oh, like most of these homeowners,
that's what people think.
Yeah, they think it's all over, right? Because, I mean, to them, it kind of feels that way.
There's no education on it. Hey, this is what happens when you foreclose on your house.
Right.
Make sure you go check what the winning bid was at auction and subtract what you owed on it, and that's what's sitting with the government. There's no education on that. There's nobody's reaching out. They said one certified letter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
And that's it. They don't have a call center calling these people. They don't have, door knockers or any of that stuff.
Sure.
Going to these people's houses. One letter, no one responds, and then they get to absorb those funds and then use it however they deem necessary. Right? It becomes as cheated funds, and it ends up going to the Division of Unclaimed Property.
And that's a whole other
animal where, now you can still go there and claim those funds. In some jurisdictions you couldn't, but now you can.
Yeah, because of the Supreme Court case in 2023, where they're basically like, governments, you can't just take people's equity if they don't know that they have the money sitting in here.
Yep.
Because that was like the dirty little trick in Arizona. If you didn't file your claim in 2 years, it was gone. Yeah. I mean, they just took it.
Sorry.
Now, it goes to a different division, but
correct.
You have to jump through all sorts of different hoops.
You got to jump through hoops. There's more red tape. There's going to be more fees because now more people have handled the funds, and they all have departments that need a cut. However that works internally, I don't know 100%. But at the end of the day, it just becomes harder, and you get less back. But like you said, the government in some of these jurisdictions just got caught with their hand in the cookie jar for way too long, to way too many people, and now the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of the homeowners that this is their equity that they worked hard to generate, and they are due that money, right? It's rightfully theirs. So now it creates a huge wave of new surplus being available that wasn't available before. And some of these jurisdictions are being required to back pay millions of dollars in surplus that they thought it was ours, or it was theirs.
I talked to a handful of attorneys here about surplus funds, and they said the most that you can make in Arizona if you're helping somebody find it as a third-party vendor is $2,500.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that
for the most part that is true, but there's ways that you can make more. There's ways around that as long as it's justified, right? And it just requires certain mechanisms to be able to get that homeowner under contract through a different method than the standard method that Arizona would deem as like a third party trying to come in and basically claim some of that equity on behalf of the homeowner.
Right, because the government's like, hey, we don't want people like Alfred. We don't want people helping people get their funds.
Right. And so, and that's why we use an attorney on all of our cases.
Nice.
We use an attorney. And so there's mechanisms that allow us, because in many cases like Arizona, all of these funds go and eventually go through the courts and they get dispersed at the court level. So, we need an attorney for that process. And so we get an attorney and we put the attorney on our contract, and eventually the funds are paid out to the attorney. The attorney will disperse from their account. Okay. So we bill it separately as a different service arrangement.
So all you're doing is reaching out to these people that have surplus funds, and you're talking to them.
Yeah.
And they I assume, well, maybe they don't know they can do it themselves. Do you tell them that they can do it themselves? Are you just like, hey, I could do this for you. You could do it yourself. Like I would go in and be like, yeah, listen, you could do this all yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the website. Do your thing. If you don't want to do it, let me know, or I could just take care of all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And most people ask that question.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, can I do this myself? And yeah, we just tell them you can. And in fact, we have to disclose that. Right. But it's kind of like everything
on
else.
the paperwork.
On the paperwork, we disclose it, right? But they just, they don't either have the expertise or don't want to go through the motions. Of
they trade price for speed and convenience. It's the same thing as wholesaling. It is the exact same thing, guys. You can put your house on the market. You can put it in front of everybody. Yeah. You can get it with a real estate agent. You can clean it up. You can get all the junk out. You can fix up some things. You can do all these things. Or do you just want a cash as is offer? I want a cash as is offer. Yeah. It's really hard for people to understand, like people that aren't in the business to understand that people would take that option. Mm-hmm. But it's the same thing with you. Yeah. They can go and go through all the paperwork, make sure it's all filled out, make sure that they check all the boxes and do all the things and jump through the hoops that they need to, and send it in and not pay anybody, not pay you, not have somebody take a percentage or a fee or whatever it is. But they don't.
They don't. And what I've learned over the 13 years of doing this and, over 2,000 deals is that even though they know they can do it, 99% of them just don't. Mm-hmm. They don't want to do it. They don't want to bother learning how to do it. And in some cases, I would say close to half, most of these homeowners, like close to half are deceased, right? So they're, the heirs. Now you're talking about a whole different claiming process. Now you're talking about a probate process or a small probate process. And now you have to figure out, intestate succession laws and those kind of things, and then file it with the proper agencies. And then some of these cases go to court where, an attorney has to file motions for disbursement. They have to attend hearings. They might need affidavits signed and things recorded with the county. Could you do that on your own? Sure. You can change your own transmission too.
I can't. No chance.
Yeah, exactly. That might be a little bit of a far reach, but yeah, I mean,
or a plumber,
right?
Yeah, I could watch a plumbing video.
Maybe you can watch that
and change out a toilet, but I'm gonna hire a plumber.
Exactly. So the reason you do that is to save yourself time, energy, and money, right? It's speed and convenience. So ultimately, we let them know, yes, you can do this on your own, but this is what we can do, right? And if we are successful at the end, which there's no reason why we wouldn't be if the funds are there. And when we're successful, we will take a fee, usually ranges between 15 to 30% of the total surplus recovered. And then the lion's share gets sent to the homeowner. And that's the business model, man.
Former homeowner.
Former home. Yeah, I know. Former. They don't like being called former. No, you're right.
It took a lot for me to wrap my head around the fact that you're getting paid as much as a wholesale deal, but you don't have to learn to comp. You don't have to go on appointments. You don't have to have earnest money. Yeah. You don't have to have a title company or a closing attorney. You don't have to have a real estate license. Mm-hmm. You don't have to deal with cash buyers. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
The money's are they guaranteed? I mean, this is insane.
Yeah. I mean, if the money's there, it's guaranteed theirs. There's no way it can be taken unless, like we described, there's other liens or judgments that they know they owe money on, right? The credit card bill stacked up, IRS bill, whatever it is. But you're right. All that stuff you described, to get a deal done in surplus funds recovery, you don't have to do any of that stuff.
Right.
I never see the property, right? I don't meet these people in person, the seller or the homeowner, however, or former homeowner. I don't meet these people.
You don't even have to have like local market knowledge.
No, I don't need to know any buyers or learn about the foundation or
no realtors, no hard money lenders, none of you.
No,
you can. So you're just. Ooh, I got to take a second here. So all you're doing is picking up the phone, calling on people that have surplus, having a conversation with them. Obviously, there's going to be some trust built there because I'm sure that they don't believe you when you say you have a bunch of money there, right? So there's probably some proof elements on some level, but they know that they foreclosed. Maybe the heirs don't know, but the living property owners know.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like $200 million a month in surplus.
Yeah.
Billions. I mean, there's got to be thousands. There's got to be thousands every single month that have surplus, especially tax default, especially these states that you owe $10,000 in property taxes and you don't pay them for a certain amount of years and they just auction the property off. And you lost the house, you owed $10,000, $12,000, $50,000. It's a free and clear house. There's no mortgage, but you have to pay your property taxes or you lose the property. And then that gets auctioned off. And then you've got this big surplus sitting there and they let you know one time that you have money sitting there.
That's messed up, huh?
This is insane.
Yeah. One time. You got to tell me more.
I mean,
than
talk
once.
about the best list to cold call of all time. I guess the reason this isn't more mainstream really is because it's tough to figure out who has surplus. I know that you can just Google it and some of them just have like PDFs, but I've looked at them. The PDF is like case number, and it doesn't even have like the people's name. It certainly doesn't have the address. It just kind of shows the surplus.
That's correct.
Maricopa County used to have that, but now you have to know the people's names, know the case number or the trustee sale number to be able to put into the system to even see if there's a surplus. I mean, it is public data, right?
It is public data, but the data is very it's very raw and bare bones,
right?
And unless you know how to unpack that data, you're just looking at a bunch of just mess, right? And so you're right. I mean, some of these lists can be downloaded online, easy access, low barrier to grabbing the list. But there's some work that comes after that. You unpack it. You got to understand what you're looking at, right? So there might be a sale that occurred, and there might be a preliminary surplus amount. But what else was leaning on that property? Who are the homeowners? Was there a deed transfer to the heirs? Like, what's the full story behind that case number and the surplus amount or the parcel number and the surplus? You don't know the full story until you dissect the data, and then you'll know, okay, this is what's owed. This is who it's owed to. And then, of course, you got to skip trace it to make sure you have the contact details. And then you simply call them and you talk to people. You have conversations and you let them know what you found, right? And as long as they like you and trust you, just like anything else, it's a kind of a simple process. It's a transaction that's already been done. The money's already there. All you're doing is connecting the dots from the homeowner to the money, right? And you don't have to know all those other moving parts, like you said.
Right.
Yeah.
Insane. Insane. Guys, Alfred's got a training at learnsurplus.com. Learnsurplus.com. Sorry, it's going to be a live masterclass on this where you really explain, how to get this. And you actually have all that. This is the crazy part, guys. Alfred has all the research already done. You've got all the research already done. You've got them skip trace, literally plug in, make calls, do all that. And you're going to be talking about that on your live masterclass. But really you're doing it. It's people are like, well, you talked at the action workshop a couple weeks ago, and Jacob raised his hand. He's like, why are you telling people this? Why are you even here?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you keep this super secret?
Right.
And it's because you do a lot of JVs with people.
I do a lot of JVs. The new data proves that it's really lopsided in terms of there's not enough people like me out there helping these homeowners. There's billions of dollars being generated every single year and unclaimed currently right now as we speak. And there's just not enough guys and gals like me that see this and want to help these individuals. And then I'm able to actually work with these folks. So yeah, why would I share this and kind of the with them, right? What's in it for me?
Yeah.
I want to build, I guess, an army of people that can see this opportunity, and it's not that hard to see.
Yeah.
Right. Most people just haven't even heard about it.
Yeah.
They haven't been enlightened. And so if you're someone who's enlightened and you want to,
well, the light bulbs went off when you were talking at the action workshop.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh my gosh,
I'm doing a deal with Jacob.
I know.
Yeah.
90K or something.
That's how quick it happened.
Right.
Yeah. He was enlightened, didn't really know the process. I showed him what I know.
It was a dead lead.
It was
a lead that he was working, and it went to foreclosure, and it went to the auction, and he knew that there was a surplus, and he already had a relationship. I am telling guys, from a wholesaler's standpoint.
Yeah.
We pound phones. We're not scared of the phones. We're not inexperienced with hiring high quality VAs to do the first contact. Mm-hmm. We understand how to communicate with property owners. So wholesalers are going to go bananas on this. This is going to be the top list. I mean, this is going to be an absolute no brainer.
Yeah.
To really wrap your head around it and then implement it.
Yeah. But 99.99% of them don't know about it.
Right.
Right. Because all the surplus deals I've done, they're all dead deals.
Well, they might know about it, but even when I was doing research, like all the people out there coaching it and all them doing that, it's like, this is how you pull the list from the county. It's almost like it feels like wholesaling back in the day when people were like, oh no, don't learn about assignments. Just be a bird dog for me.
Right.
It feels like that. It really does. And, but with the education that's out there, it's like, oh yeah, here's all the lists. And, you can try to, get a hold of these people, but they're old lists or they're really tough to understand. Or you need these other tools to figure out if there's other liens on the property and how much of the surplus is really available to the former property owner, all those things. You've got that all figured out. Yeah,
and that's the barrier, right? And that's the learning curve.
The other thing is you need attorneys. I talked to 5 attorneys in Arizona. They all told me the most that you can make is $2,500. I see you on Instagram and you made like $15,000 in Mojave County.
Yeah.
So there's different levels to this. There really is. What I've learned from the research, there's different ways that you can form the relationship with the person that's funds are sitting there. And then you turn it over to an attorney network.
That's it.
And you got a nationwide attorney network.
I do. It took me 13 years to build it, but it's there. And the funny thing is I'm gonna talk about what that looks like on learnsurplus.com.
Yeah.
Right. And
every wholesaler, if you don't get on this training, you're whatever. You're not serious. Honestly, this is the perfect bolt-on. This is like one of those bolt-ons that all of a sudden starts swelling up and starts taking more of your income starts coming from surplus funds.
Yeah, I mean, funny story to that. Wholesalers, number one, they're already talking to these people. Right.
Yeah.
And a good majority of these homeowners or former homeowners that I talk to, I always ask them like, hey, how did you get here, man? Like what caused you to lose the home? Because it's a really bad day for them. Right. So I kind of need to come down to that level with them for a bit and really empathize. And so I ask them like, what happened, bro? Like, how did you get here? And they'll start to tell you like their whole life story on how they got there. And I listen. But one of the things they always say in the common thread is, I was talking to somebody about 2 weeks before the auction, and this guy or gal said that they were going to actually give me cash for the house, but I haven't been able to reach them for 2 weeks. And so in my brain, because I know I'm thinking that's a wholesaler, that's one.
100%.
That's one of you guys.
That's it. Well, a bad one.
No, yeah. But maybe they just didn't know and they got scared, right? I mean, I don't know what the story is, but I'm assuming most of these people thought it was a done deal.
Mm-hmm.
But what's funny is that all of my successful deals are dead deals to the wholesale space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I know. Well, and it's crazy to me that somebody's has equity and they don't sell their house before it goes to auction, before it forecloses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some just don't. Some are just like, I'm done with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Some just let it go.
You guys deal with that, every day. And to some degree, they still have kind of that behavior, right? Where it's kind of sticking the head in the sand, right? Thinking they have more time when they don't. Or trying to work out, structure something, a deal, a promise that somebody made that didn't work out. But then you got the deceased homeowner, right? The deceased homeowners, they don't pay their mortgage payments. But they also have family members who maybe just didn't care to maintain the mortgage payment or the property taxes. Right?
For sure.
Like
we see that every day.
Yeah, no one's caring about that unless they're living at the property. Like if I'm living at dad's house or grandma's house, I better be paying the mortgage, right? Or I'm going to lose that property. But a lot of these people live on their own, have their own families. And so that's why a lot of people lose these properties, even with all that equity, which is insane to me.
Insane.
Yeah.
It's insane that there's not an easier way for people to just get their money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you have to file all the paperwork or get the attorney or, and most of them won't.
No. I mean, the state statute, there's red tape and barriers for them.
Right.
Right. And then, it could look bad for a lot of these trustees to just send checks in the mail.
Sure.
Right?
I get that. Now that I'm thinking about it, it makes sense that they don't just send checks, but there should be like an office that you have to go down at the county and you got it. This is you. We verify you. Okay. We'll send you a wire in 48 hours.
Yeah. I mean, funny thing is there is offices for these counties, but they don't get invited. Nobody's inviting them to the office. Number one. Number two, they can't just show up and say, hey, write me a check. They still have to follow the protocol. Right. And then if you're talking about an estate situation, now there's probate processes.
Yeah, sure.
There's entitlement processes. There's potentially court processes. There's attorneys that need to be involved. And, these people are just overwhelmed and it's too complicated. And they either they never learn about it or they just give up on trying. And that's where people like me come in.
So you have a system for researching the surplus funds and making sure that you understand the liens and understand how much is actually there. So you know if it's worth your time to go after that. And then you talk to the property owner.
Right.
If you talk to 10 property owners, former property, I keep saying I'm just programmed for it.
Yeah, seller.
You talk to 10 of these people that have surplus funds.
Right.
How many are you locking up?
Well, for me, it's 5 out of 10. And it's not just skill, right? I mean, some of that is skill because I've been doing this for a long time. But a lot of that comes from the fact that I'm not selling them something that they don't need or not going to use. I'm not creating a sale where a sale is not intended to be done.
Yeah, you're like, hey, listen, you have $20 over here that I found. If I go get that $20 for you, will you give me 5?
You give me 5, yeah. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? Like you don't have to do anything or go anywhere. I'm going to bring it to you hand delivered, right? It's like Uber. Yeah, I'm going to bring you your food. I just need a piece, right?
That is the craziest conversation.
Yeah.
Compared to what we do, compared to all of the rejection that we get, asking people if they would consider an offer, and it works. I mean, it's just a numbers game. I mean, it's a tremendous. I mean, you're more like 1 out of 200, 1 out of 500, 1 out of 1,000 conversations. You're getting 5 deals out of 10 conversations.
Yeah, dude, if I talk to 10 decision makers, 5 of them are going to sign a contract with me.
Right.
Right. And it's not just because I'm that good. I'd like to think that I'm pretty good, but it's also because the money's already theirs.
You're selling them.
Money. You know? And so I'm helping them connect the dots and navigate the complexities that are involved. And then at the end, we all get paid.
Awesome.
And the thing for them and why it's such a no-brainer also is because if I don't succeed, I don't get paid.
Right.
And so they know I have a strong motivation to help them make sure that
there's no upfront cost.
No upfront cost. I'm not asking for cash, credit card, or check, right? It's all contingent upon my success. And so as long as the money's there, I know I'm going to find it and get it. And then they pay me at the end, right? Just like any other service.
So you find the surplus.
Right.
You reach out to the homeowner. I guess there's agreements that you get signed.
Yep.
That outline the relationship.
Right.
And then you turn it over to an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
The attorney takes it all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Are they working on a contingency?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah, because they know that they're going to get paid. The money's sitting there.
Everybody gets paid when the homeowner gets paid. Yeah.
And then the money gets sent to the attorney?
The money gets sent to the attorney by the county or the courts. And then the attorney does what he does through their account. And then it's just all dispersed out to all interested parties at that point from the attorneys. Yeah.
Insane.
So that's exactly the breakdown. I generate that lead, research it, have a conversation, and then we dish it to the attorney.
Do you ever just buy people out, give them money up front, and they just give you, they just sell you the rights to the surplus?
Sometimes, yeah, we actually do. Homeowners will come forward because there is a little bit of a timeline.
Yeah.
It can be,
the states want to hold on to that.
Oh,
so they can take their time before people actually get their surplus. Right.
Yeah. And I think they're making money on the money.
Yeah.
Right. And
sure.
No one can know for sure. But nonetheless, they hang on to those funds for as long as possible. There's a whole proof of entitlement process, right? They really make you jump through some hoops to get the funds. And a lot of these homeowners,
well, they make the attorney jump through hoops.
Right. They make the legal process hard, right?
Right.
And so a lot of these homeowners are pressed, financially, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all the things. And so there's, a little bit of money goes a long way when they're going through that. So some of these homeowners are actually willing to take, for speed and convenience, they're actually willing to take a lump sum up front and basically close the deal out. And that would be called,
yeah, I need 20 grand right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't need I need 20 grand right now. I don't want to wait 6 months.
Yeah. And if the case qualifies, we seek to make that kind of arrangement with the homeowner.
Yeah, but you got to get a way bigger spread then.
Oh, it's nicer for sure. Because
that's how you make the really big deals.
That's where the real money is on a per deal basis for sure. Because with these deals, as the surplus operator, or in that scenario, you would kind of investing a little bit, right? You'd be kind of putting money up front. You do take on some risk, the risk of waiting, right? Of waiting and going through the hoops to get the funds released, or with the attorneys to get the funds released.
Yeah.
And so as a consequence, we're able to get paid much, much better on those types of deals. So the standard fee, if you're just doing a typical or a traditional way, 15 to 30%. If it's a large surplus, you can go lower, right?
Yeah, sure.
But on a buyout situation, Brent, you can make 50, 60% sometimes.
Right.
And in a rare scenario, it could get juicier than that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's a range where you can make the deal done depending on the risk. Right. It's all risk based. Right. So if it's high risk, we charge more. You give them less.
What would risk be? Because the money's there. What's the risk?
The risk would be like if there's a probate situation
and you're not really sure all the heirs.
If there's not a probate already done, and we're going by like intestate succession laws, which is a whole
sure
another thing. But if we're going based on that, and then we sense that, potentially there's more errors than we see, and it could become a little more risky.
Yeah.
Even sometimes you don't want the
Yeah,
deal.
but with a living owner,
the only person on title, or husband and wife, both living, clean cut, right? They just need money now. Of course, that's a deal that we buy out 7 days a week.
yeah,
Yeah,
that would
Of
seem
course.
like a no-brainer.
and then
And that happens all the time.
Oh,
I mean, that
yeah.
happens with insurance payments. I mean, there's been ads run forever that's like, I want my money and I want it now.
I want it
You know,
now.
J.G. Wentworth.
That's the guy.
Yeah. But that happens all over the place. I mean, if somebody
Yeah.
has an asset and it's going to take them a while to get that asset, they want their money now for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's like the pawn shop.
I mean, sometimes it's like, hey, listen, I can't get this medical treatment
sure, yeah.
unless I have a bulk amount that I can put down. I can't handle this legal situation that I'm going through without a retainer. I can't, you know what I mean? There are certain things, whatever, surgery, all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
I can't get my car out of the impound and get to work unless I have, this money, that money.
Yeah.
Can you get it somewhere? I have no other way to get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It happens all the
It's
time.
just like borrowing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't borrow for free.
Right.
And so it's just another degree of borrowing, right?
Yeah.
So and when you borrow, that comes with a price.
Well, you said it. It's a pawn shop. That you take a guitar to a pawn shop, you're not getting full retail value for your guitar. You just need the money now.
I need it now.
I've sold so many things. When I lost everything, Alfred, I sold so many things on Craigslist.
Yeah.
For like nothing.
Pennies.
Nothing, because I needed the money. I needed the money to be able to pay car insurance, to get gas, to whatever.
Yeah.
Get groceries.
And the money up front, the value on that money up front is worth more than whatever the potential is of holding that asset or whatever it is, right? Like that's why people do it.
It happens
right?
all the time.
And when you're in a pinch or you're pressed, sometimes you got to make those calls.
Yeah.
And so we're there to help. We're there to be kind of like their bank. We're not going to credit check them because they wouldn't get that kind of money up front nowhere else.
No.
They just had a foreclosure, so no one's going to give them that kind of money.
No. Guys, learnsurplus.com. You guys better go to this. You will be an absolute knucklehead if you do not go to this training. This is something that you need to bolt on and or really get serious. Or if you're just trying to get into real estate, this is a great. I mean, it's not even real estate. It's not even real estate. It's truly like what is it? Asset recovery.
Yeah. In the traditional sense, it's not.
Yeah.
You're not really touching or dealing with houses or taking on loans.
It's in the orbit of the real estate transaction.
Yeah.
But it's like we're calling people and it's like a negative call because it's like, oh, you're foreclosing or, you've got all these code violations or you haven't paid your taxes or the property's destroyed and all this. You're calling with this super positive conversation that goes, hey, there's a bunch of money that you're owed. Do you want me to go get it for you? Do you want me to get you through the process and you just get your check?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's it.
Once I found out about this, I was like, this is silly.
Yeah. It's
starting all over again. I mean, if I would have known this, who knows? Obviously I've made a fortune in wholesaling, but it's this cold calling for this is a no-brainer.
Yeah. Of course, the only barrier is, first you got to get a hold of them, then they got to like you and trust you, just like anything. But the conversation is just different.
That comes with the.
But for you guys, that's cake, right? That's a cakewalk.
Yeah.
So learnsurplus.com. I'm going to be breaking it all down.
Yeah.
Giving all the sauce, right? The salsa verde, the red sauce, and the pico de gallo.
Oh, all the good stuff.
All the sauce.
Yeah.
Will be given.
That's awesome.
On that day.
Awesome.
Right? And all the information will be there.
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome, guys. Check that out. Thanks.
Yeah,
Alfred.
you got it,
Great
man.
to
Thank
have
you
you
for
on
having
here.
me.
We'll
Good
have to
see
bring
ya.
you back and
Absolutely.
and have some more, case
Always
studies
fun.
and breakdowns and that type of thing. Because
Mm-hmm.
I think that this fits in perfectly with what wholesalers do, what real estate investors do in general, but especially wholesalers that are out there and they want to work with their cell phone and a computer. You don't even work with a cell phone. You just do everything through your computer, which is insane. He's making calls on his computer. He's
On the
closing
computer,
deals on the computer. I mean, it's insane. You're doing, dozens of these things every single month. It's really impressive, really exciting to watch. And I think once wholesalers wrap their head around this, watch out. It's going to be insane. So thanks for being on here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Guys, check that out, learnsurplus.com. My name is Brent Daniels. I love you. Thank you for listening. And for listening this long, I want to give you a gift. And that gift is a free book, a book that I wrote. And it's called Wholesaling Launch. It's 20 chapters. I'm telling you, it'll give you everything that you need to get your first deal, to build a scalable business, and to actually have a business that can run without you. Go check that out at wholesalinglaunch.com. That's it. I'm Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, and I encourage you to go out and talk to people, maybe even people that have surplus. See you next time.